Are you choosing to be non-compliant?
Get on the floor! Get on the floor! Get on the floor! Let's go! Get on the floor! Get on the floor! Get on the floor! Stop resisting!
Where's the handcuff? I need a handcuff right now.
Get his arm. I got it. Here, get the handcuff, keep the leg.
I need a handcuff. I'm going for his left arm. All right. Oh.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Damn. What a disgrace. 6 soldiers there forcing detained senior airmen for refusing the so-called China virus vaccine, forcing him to take it. That scene is emblematic of the Democrats' vision for all of us here in the United States. Government forcing you to do what they say you need to do. This man was put up for a court-martial for rejecting the jab. He went on trial, and he won. Joins me now, United States Air Force Senior Airman Lance Castle, along with retired Marine Staff Sergeant and military attorney Dan Conway. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here and serving our nation in uniform. Airman Castle, explain to us what we just saw in that video.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you for having me on. So that was a cell extraction that it was due to having the blanket over my head is how they stated it. But really, it was due to my high blood pressure and the fact that I wasn't receiving my Bible or my medication on that day. Their text messages were subpoenaed actually throughout the court-martial, and it was revealed that there was text group message chats between them stating that they did that to shock me into compliance, which is why the judge felt that it was unnecessary and also unlawful from that particular event.
Yeah, compliance with taking the jab. Sergeant Conway, why don't you take a look at CDC and FDA officials admitting to Congress under oath that the so-called vaccines did not work as advertised. Watch.
Can you receive it or can you transmit it after receiving the COVID-19 vaccines?
Yeah, I think having worked at CDC for 30 years and seen the benefits of vaccine, we have to make the best recommendation.
Can you transmit it or can you receive it after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine?
We need to make the best recommendations that we have.
That's a yes or no question. It's very simple. Commander Grimes, can you receive?
I think we make the best recommendations for the public as we
Can you
possibly
still
can.
get COVID after getting the COVID-19 vaccine?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Counselor, don't members of our military and other government personnel have serious legal cases against the federal government, forcing them to take a vaccine that doesn't behave like a vaccine in that it doesn't stop transmission, nor does it prevent infection?
I think there can be causes of action in some circumstances, particularly where there's been, harm to the service member. It was a enormously problematic vaccine from a standpoint of lawfulness of it and obedience to orders. But yeah, there can be causes of action in some circumstances.
Airman Castle, this next bit of information I'm going to convey is going to make the audience's blood boil. You were branded an insider threat. You sustained injuries when you were dragged out of your cell. You served 60 days of pretrial confinement, missing the birth of your firstborn child. First off, can you believe your own government did this to you? And how did you remain undeterred in the face of such oppression?
Those are great questions. I just knew that the chess piece, I guess, of it is what I'd like to state. Knowing that they would just come after me with everything they have is what kept me composed throughout the it was 66 days in confinement. I know that post said 60, it must have been a typo, but it was honestly that I started to get into the war within my mind of how much they want to come after me. So I knew I had to pretty much lay low within my head within the next 64 days, because this was day 2 of my confinement. And I couldn't let them charge me with anything else up at that point. And to answer your question, I absolutely can believe that this is happening within the military. It happened to me. I see the evil within my command, within my leadership. I've been stating it for the last 2.5 years now. And I'm just so happy that I had Dan on my team and that I called him and he helped me get acquitted of all my charges. And he still continues to help me to this day.
Yeah, folks, what you're seeing on your screen, guys in the control booth, do me a favor, just put that up full. I want the folks to see the future the Democrat Party with compliant Republicans want for all of us. A government strong-arming all of us to do what they want. Sergeant Conaway, as we look at this video, your client wasn't the only victim of government abuse. In your view, what needs to happen to make sure that our people don't fall victim to this type of abuse of power in government ever again?
Well, I think that from a policy standpoint, when the vaccine first came out, they tried to implement pathways for people to conscientiously, honestly, and with integrity object, make that personal choice as to what goes into their body. They tried to give them pathways to avoid having to take a vaccine that they didn't believe was going to be effective and could harm them. But instead, those pathways became rubber stamps to denials, religious exemptions, for instance, that Senior Airman Castle applied for and was denied. They were just consistently rubber stamped as denied. Medical exemptions were rubber stamped as denied. And so I think that, at some point, courts and the system, if we're going to give people this freedom and this ability to conscientiously object, it's got to be taken seriously from a policy standpoint. And in the COVID vaccine example, it just wasn't. It wasn't. It was just denial after denial after denial.
Lance Castle and Dan Conaway. Again, gentlemen, thank you for your service and thank you for your time here on the Salcedo Show and sharing your story. Still ahead, the Supreme Court looks poised to issue another devastating blow to Trump haters and potentially free hundreds of January 6 defendants who have had their rights abused. Don't tell Obama. But the Biden student loan scheme is about to jeopardize